Mr. Hicksonbaugh.
Yes.
Passes, the committee report passes 8-0.
Thank you. And with that, we will move into second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2021-38. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward.
Good evening, Mike Huber, Marsh Consultants, 315 West Jefferson Boulevard, South Bend, Indiana. I'm here tonight representing the petitioner, who's also in the audience this evening. Appreciate your consideration of our request. We are, as was mentioned, we are petitioning to have a proposed new outlot created just north of the new John's Auto Spa as an outlot in the McKinley Commons Shopping Plaza. Will be adjacent to kind of the Grape Road north of the right-in, right-out entrance there north of John's Auto Spa. Looking at the land uses that are around there, in addition to this C7 drive-through, we know we've got Burger King in there. We know we've got automotive use with John's Auto Spa. It feels like it fits the character of the McKinley and the Grape Road corridors to have this land use be permitted as a permitted land use from the C2 to the C7 zoning ordinance. We did submit a conceptual site plan to engineering with the Plan Commission submittal, and we did receive some feedback and some comments on that with some concerns about the turn-in from the right-in on Grape, our entrance to the site being a little too close. We're not at the final site plan development stage yet. We want to get through this piece first. We do recognize those concerns and we understand them. I've had a couple conversations with Councilman Benicki about those as well. He reached out to me on that. We are doing the John's Auto Spa, so we're well aware of his anticipated traffic and travel and his ability to stack vehicles within his 2 stacking lanes, and the fact that he also moved his entrance over to the west. And we're exploring different opportunities to shift the entrance from the east to the west, or opportunities that may not utilize that ingress egress at all. So we're looking at a couple different options. We're working through them with the client, and we're working diligently with the city engineering department to come up with a plan that works for their approval and for the Plan Commission's approval. We did receive Plan Commission recommendation favorable unanimously when we brought the rezoning to them as well. Our clients are successful owners of one of the franchises that they're proposing here in our market area already. I had some communication I had with them. It's actually one of the highest performing within their franchise in both the territory and the country. So they're excited about the opportunity to expand and bring another franchise to Mishawaka. Their first franchise is in the Heritage Square area. So there's another successful Mishawaka business looking to continue investment in Mishawaka, bring new traffic, new life, and helping to revitalize the McKinley Commons shopping plaza. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Huber? Mr. Benicki.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Huber, thank you for the conversations you've had about the traffic concerns that I have. I mean, obviously, it's going to be very, very tight, especially with Starbucks being in the same parking lot. So, we're putting all these apples in one basket. I'm just afraid that something's going to spill over, and, with the amount of traffic on Grape Road and Christmas time, sure. There's concerns. That spot right about where that building's proposed is where they usually put like a 2-story high mountain of snow in the winter. So I don't know where they're going to put all that snow. God bless them.
I'm not sure either.
I am guilty of not utilizing their other store as of yet, but then again, I've never been to a Starbucks, so that's just the way it is. But yeah, I think that you've got a pretty good grasp on how things are going, and understand my concerns on both the entrances, both off of Grape Road and McKinley, because they just bottleneck so bad. I'm just afraid that
Sure.
they're just going to get stuck in the parking lot.
Sure. I would like to say that the current site plan that we did provide to Plan Commission, in speaking with our clients, they anticipate that they have about an average service time of between 1.25, a minute and a quarter, and a minute and a half from the time you order to the time you get your beverage, and knowing that we can process through. In an hour, in a peak hour, we can process through between 43 and 48 cars. Their peak volume times at their current store are in the 40 to 50 cars in their peak hours right now. So we're able to accommodate the amount of volume that they're having in their peak hours with stacking of 2 or 3 cars. The current plan we had stacking of 6 cars prior to the drive-through window and 3 cars after the drive-through window. So we were already stacking about 9 cars. So we should have more than enough capacity, but we're still very, very sensitive to the concerns of the city and understanding that this use may live beyond the current client and may have different opportunities in the future. So we do want to come up with a plan that reflects what city engineering is asking us to do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for Mr. Huber? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If you would, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If you would, please come forward.
I think he wanted to come up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Josh and Lauren Jester, 7410 Gumwood Road. We just wanted to be available and answer any questions that you guys might have about the operations of the business. As Mr. Huber said, in our territory, our drive-through times are number 1 out of Smoothie King Corporate's territory area. Our sales are 6th actually in the world. We've got stores outside of the country now, so a little over 2,000 stores, and gross sales of the current store we have is 6th in the country or in the world. So we're pretty proud of that, and we're excited to bring another store to Mishawaka. So obviously, we've looked into this drive-through thing and talked with Mr. Huber quite a bit about it. So we just wanted to answer any questions that you guys might have for us.
Thank you. Mr. Benicki?
Thank you. Just a couple basic questions. What's your hours of operation?
From 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Every day of the week, 7 days a week?
So Saturday is 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then Sunday is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay. And have you had any problems retaining help?
No, fortunately.
God bless you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Well, apologies for not seeing you when you initially motioned that, or made the motion that you wanted to come up here. Congratulations on your business venture. I am like Mr. Benicki. I am woefully behind in not having visited your other store, but as things progress, I promise you that I will visit the new location.
We appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I don't know, is it a Starbucks or is it a Smoothie King? Is it a Starbucks or a Smoothie King?
Smoothie King.
It is a Smoothie King.
Yeah, Starbucks is the other one.
Perfect.
For the record, there is an indication that Smoothie King, based upon the shirt that Mr. Jester has on, is the franchise that will be located here, and I heard reference to Starbucks as well. Is that correct, Mr. Huber?
Starbucks is a different location. This is
Starbucks is the one that was before us not too long ago.
Good for them.
All right.
Good
So
for them.
let the record reflect Smoothie King as being the Jester's business franchise.
I've seen them.
All right. And with that, then, is there anyone else physically present who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Seeing no one, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Then is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? Thank you. Are there any council members who wish to speak? Mr. Benicki?
I just want to wish the Jesters good luck and hope that everything works out well. Good luck.
Is there anybody on the moon?
Thank you. Mrs. Volker?
Thank you. Oh, just a second, Mr. Mamalenti.
Sorry.
I just wanted to say, I have been to your Smoothie King, particularly for somebody in my family who needed high-protein drinks. That really worked out great anyway, thank you, and it was quick. So, good job.
Thank you, Mrs. Volker. Mr. Mamalenti?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that I've known the Jester family for several years. I've known employees that have worked in their establishment, and they've been always held in high regard. So I think the city of Mishawaka is lucky to have them come to our great city, and I wish them nothing but the best, and I will be voting in favor of this tonight.
Thank you. Other questions or comments from the council? And hearing none, I will call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. DeMade?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hazen?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Belovich?
Yes.
Mr. Compton?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 8-0. Proposed ordinance number 2021-39, an ordinance annexing contiguous territory to the city of Mishawaka, Indiana, and providing zoning classification therefore. This is annexation and rezoning of 12452 and 12434 Lincoln Way East from I-1 to C-1 General Commercial and I-1 Light Industrial. This is a public hearing with no vote.
Thank you. With that, we will open the public hearing on proposed ordinance 2021-39. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Mr. President, members of the council, Ken Prince, city planner. I'm here before you actually representing the two property owners involved, both of the owners of Foxfire Safety and also of the Bruno's Pizza in that location. A little over 20 years ago, in my first tenure with the city, Foxfire had proposed annexation, and at that time, we started the process and they decided not to proceed. We assigned an address, a city address at that time as part of the annexation process. Well, since that time, they proceeded with the improvement in the county, but we've had that multiple address that has been proving to be a headache for dispatch since that time. They came back to us with a request to resolve it. We suggested going forward with the annexation. If they went forward with the annexation, that we would essentially help them in terms of putting the petition together and getting it into the city. Because of our jagged tooth of a border, because of annexation needing to be voluntary, we also asked Bruno's if they would be willing to come in at that time so we wouldn't have an island surrounded there. They also agreed to come into the city. Right now, there are no improvements planned for either business. It is merely switching from the unincorporated area to the city with the reflective zoning classifications. It's currently zoned industrial right now in the county. It would be industrial in the city and then C1 general commercial for the Bruno's property. The area in question is a little under 2 acres, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Prince, Mr. Compton?
Yeah, Mr. Prince, thank you. Are either of these locations hooked up to city utilities now?
I believe they both are.
So they're both on city sewage and all that, all this, okay, good. And when everyone else is done, I got a question off the subject. I saw something today I'd like to ask you about, but
Sure.
go ahead.
Thank you. Other questions for Mr. Prince? Thank you.
Mr. Prince, while you're there,
Yes, sir.
the toll road access, I saw Panzica has a sign next to the medical hospital. What is going there?
It's a surgery center.
Okay.
So the plans have already been approved by the planning commission. That
I was
was on
just
the
curious.
agenda.
I didn't
last month.
recall hearing anything about it, not that it needs to come to us.
Yes.
But I was just curious as to what it was. I saw.
Yes, it falls
some
within the
grading and
existing
going
PUD, but if you recall, there was an access drive.
Yeah.
When Bear was looking to develop there, this is essentially the site where Bear was going to
Okay.
develop.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else for Mr. Prince? Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? If you would, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Is there anyone physically present who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance? Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the council at this point? Then hearing none, we will close the public hearing on proposed ordinance 2021-39. This matter will appear on our agenda, and action will be taken on it at a subsequent council meeting and consistent with the requirements of Indiana law. Thank you. And with that, we'll move into privilege of the floor. At this time, members of the public are invited to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor. Hearing no one, we will move on to unfinished business, of which there is none that I am aware. New business. Is there any new business to come before the council?
Yes, Mr.
Mrs.
President.
DeMaid.
I have two issues I'd like to speak
Please.
to. The first is, last Wednesday, October 27th, federal agents coordinated several raids to search warrants throughout the northern Indiana region as part of a very large investigation into the members of the Sin City Disciples Motorcycle Club. One of those warrants was served in South Bend near Edison and Mayflower Roads. And although the FTA led the raids, there were officers from the St. Joseph County Metro SWAT team, which includes officers from St. Joe County Police and the Pokagon Tribal Police and our Mishawaka Police Department. The massive raid was executed safely and without incident, thank goodness. I wanted to thank all the officers and all the federal agents who took part in the operation for their work, but I especially want to thank our Mishawaka SWAT members for a dangerous job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I have something else. if you don't
Please.
mind. I would like to announce the first meeting of the West End Neighborhood Watch. This meeting will take place next Tuesday, November 9th at 7 p.m. at St. Bavo's. There's plenty of parking and in the fenced lots south of the church. We will be joined Tuesday by Mishawaka Police Officer Faltinsky, and the meeting will focus, all of our meetings will focus on neighborhood crime prevention, security, and how we can all do something to keep our neighbors and our neighborhoods safe. The meetings are planned as of tonight to be held on the second Tuesday of the month, and these are open meetings, and everyone is welcome to attend, and we promise the meetings will be over at 8 o'clock.
So 7 p.m.
7 p.m., yes. I'd like to thank Father Peter and the parishioners of St. Bavo's for allowing us to use their facilities for our meetings.
Thank you. Is there any other new business to come before the council?
I do, Mr. President, if I may.
Mr. Mamalante.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to remind the folks of Mishawaka that all are welcome to attend a neighborhood watch meeting, which will take place November 17th at 7 p.m. In unusual fashion, we're going to take our meeting off-site and do a tour of the St. Joseph County Juvenile Center, which is located at 1000 South Michigan Street, South Bend, Indiana. Judge Chikowitz is going to provide anyone that attends a detailed tour and description of what he and the facility does on a daily basis, along with speaking in regards to his agreement and with School City of Mishawaka and some of those students that attend Mishawaka High School. So November 17th, 7 o'clock at the JJC.
Thank you. Will you or His Honor be responsible for refreshments? I'm sure Mr. Emmons will want to know about that, Mr. Mamalante.
The judge has said that he is more than happy and willing to take care of the refreshments.
All right, we will pass that along. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there any other business to come before the council? If not, then a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you, folks.